And happy Friday. Welcome to the Pitchlight Chronicles, where fans become family. And before you start really going deep into this, a couple of things. First off, I always come on here, the new slogan, where fans become family. Well, speaking of my family, my aunt's at the doctor's office. Right. This is how cool this whole community is. She goes in, she's ready to do something, make her appointments and whatever. She notices a lot of Yankee gear on the wall. So what does she do? She promotes the Pitchlight Chronicles. So to the receptionist, Lori, who subscribed while my aunt was there, welcome to the Pitchlight Chronicles family. And Aunt Barbara, thank you for helping support the channel and all of us.
Beautiful.
Also,
welcome to the family.
Yep. Yesterday was Rob's birthday. So make sure you drop your happy birthdays in the chat for our brother. Hope you did have a good day. I know you were hoping for the sweep, but you know, the Yankees kind of screwed you on that one. But the fact that we were able to take win 6-1 on the Astros this season for a team over the last few years that have really just owned us, I think it's a complete shift in momentum on the direction these two teams are going. Because you can see the Astros, and a lot of it is injuries to their rotation, their bullpen. They're just not. They're not the same threat that they were a year ago. And we saw, we saw that come at the end of the season last year when we called up Jason Dominguez, and how we took that series and it carried over to this year. So that does give me a lot of positive things to think about and feel better about this team. With except for the hiccup with Baltimore, the Yankees have really just been super competitive. Yeah, and I think that's really all we could look for in these games, or to take another series this year, and keep pace with the Orioles, who won the division. They had the 100 wins, and a team that they thought was just going to repeat. Especially with the addition of Corbin Burns, they were like, well, they're definitely winning the series, the division again. The Yankees went, hold my beer. We have Juan freaking Soto. And, when you have him with Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, like we've been saying, it just completely changes the whole dynamic of how the Yankees are operating. So it was a good, we weren't able to get the sweep, but we did win another series, and that I'm feeling really good about where this team is right now. How are you guys feeling?
6 out of 7. Dog walk day most of the season. I mean, I'm going to take that. I don't want to hear anything about their injuries because they didn't give a goddamn fuck about our injuries when we played them in the postseason. So I don't want to hear about their injuries. I don't care. I do not care about their injuries. I don't care about the Houston Astros. I'm preying on their downfall. Fuck Houston. Fuck the Astros. I'm glad we took 2 out of 3. I'm glad we took 6 out of 7. I would have loved a sweep, but glad we're done with them. And I don't think we're going to see them again. If we do, I'm expecting a dog walk they ass again. Fuck Houston.
Yep. Donald, how you feeling about how we just embarrassed the Astros and brought them back to reality that they're just a mid team?
Juan Soto, baby, and Aaron Judge, the two of them together are going to be just absolute fire rest of the year. But, I mean, how can you top what Rob said? Dog walked them. We did. Nothing more to add. Dog walked them.
Yep. And, I think one of the things that also stood out throughout this series is the fact that, we talked about a little bit about it on Wednesday, Donald and I, the awakening of Judge was a big factor in the series. Having to worry, they can't be too cautious with Soto because now you have Judge heating up, and you have Stanton that was hitting the ball, a million miles an hour. So you're starting to see where that, the middle of the order, the heart of the order monster is really in full effect. And it's I think teams are going to, I think they're going to start to pitch the Yankees a little scared.
Judge needed it. And it wasn't just him that woke up the series. Anthony Volpe had a great series too.
Yeah.
He had a really good series, and I'm hoping that it's the turnaround that we've been asking for because we've been pretty hard on him. I've been pretty hard on him for a few weeks now. He's been terrible, but this series he was really good. So I'm hoping that's what gets him going. And if we're going to get that kind of production out of him, I'm not going to complain about him being leadoff. If Aaron Judge is hitting like this and we have nothing to complain about there, the top of the order is going to be deadly. Stanton can hit it a mile if he wants to at any given moment. 119 miles an hour off the bat is terrifying. And Rizzo's been pretty good. We need Torres to wake up. Verdugo's been just fine in the cleanup spot. Torres is like the one guy that has not really done much. He's been a little bit better, but it's not much to where you're saying like he's back to what he was last year. And then the bottom of the order, I think, is going to figure itself out. We're going to get some guys back. Getting Birdie back was huge because he's been pretty good since returning. Cabrera, I don't know why they pinch hit for him late in the game yesterday, but he's done his job. This lineup is finally starting to produce the way we expected it to, and a lot of it has to do with Aaron Judge getting going because now that's probably the best duo in baseball, and they're hitting like it. You cannot pitch to these guys when they're swinging the bats the way they are. And they showed you why. Aaron, even that double play yesterday, thank you, Dev, even that double play yesterday that Judge hit into late after Soto drew that walk, he hit it right on the screw, and it was just right to Bregman. Like, you couldn't have asked him to hit it better than that. Yeah. More times than not, that's going to go over for a double, and it's second and third. Yeah, so Judge is locked in. And Soto's been locked in since day one, but now Judge is getting going at the right time, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I think one of the other players that's also been in that mix, whose name I mean, the series that Verdugo had too. You know, he was the star of game one.
He was.
Yeah, he was involved with everything. You know, like we talked about with the bat and the glove. You know, I mean, he didn't have his best game yesterday at the plate, but you know, it's all right. You know, that's the effect of having a complete lineup. You know, that we've been waiting for years, is if one person's having a little rough patch, there are 8 others or 7 others in the lineup that can carry it, where you don't even really feel the effect. Like when even with Torres' struggles, you're not feeling the effect as much because other people are carrying the weight. You know, you just cross your fingers that when he does come up, it's really not in a crucial part of the game. then you start biting your nails. You know, you'd rather have other people at the lineup. At the same time, Torres, he's putting good at bats together. He just doesn't have the results because he really hit the ball on the screws a couple of times, and he keeps hitting it to everybody's chest. So he's not having the result.
No,
I'd hope to see a little more go through the wall, you know, hit it a little, you know, chip it over their head. Sometimes that's one of those situations where like that little bloop single can be like, okay, I got this.
You said that a couple times. I disagree. Sometimes he's hit it on the screw, but other times he just looks ridiculous. This is Torres. This is Torres. There's sometimes he's going to hit it on the screw, but it's not going to be successful, and you're going to claim, oh, it's bad luck. But then he's going to look ridiculous and strike out a lot. He just looks terrible. I'm not seeing consistent. Like you can claim
I'm not saying
Austin Wells, legitimate bad luck. Wells has had legitimate bad luck, right? He's absolutely roasted pitches.
Cabrera too, I guess, could be in there.
It's going straight in there. But Torres, no. Torres, absolutely not. But he did do well with that single. Took advantage of the fact that Altuve was a little out of position. You lined it, base hit. So I'm not going to kill him for that. But apart from that, he's looked like dog water. He's looked like cat's piss for the whole year to this point, and I'm absolutely sick of him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm done with Torres. I'm trying to. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to stretch for anything positive that he's doing.
You don't have to
get him into the mix.
Enough positives that we can just focus on the actual positives. We can't make up positives with Torres. There's nothing positive about Torres. He's a negative asset. He's a negative on the field. He's a negative on the base paths. His mentality is negative, and he's a negative offensively. There is nothing positive or even average about Gleyber Torres right now. He is just cat's piss. But the rest of this team, we've got a lot to be excited about because there's some legitimate things to be excited about. You can list them, boy. Got Aaron Judge. He's back. He looks great. Got Soto. He's the MVP right now. He looks remarkable. Rizzo's starting to hit a little. Stanton looks much better than he has in about a year and a half. He's been fine. He is what he is now. He's not gonna hit 260, 270 anymore. But it doesn't matter. If he can still give you something around 800 OPS and he absolutely unleashes fury on pitches and hits at 130 miles an hour all over the upper decks, then I'm fine with that, boy. I'm absolutely fine with that. He's gonna strike out a lot. He is who he is, but he looks good. A lot to like about Ozzy Cabrera.
Yep.
A lot to like about Verdugo. He's turned this thing around, and our starting pitching's been fine, better than fine in most instances. And we've got Clay Holmes, who's really surprised us all and looks like a legitimate closer. So, got so much to be positive about. No need to make up positives about Gleyber Torres. But the thing is, I don't know why the Yankees keep sticking with him to play every day. You've got Birdie just sitting there. You've got Birdie just sitting there. Use him.
Put him at second. Give Torres a couple of days off to get his head together.
Facts. 100%.
Yeah, you brought up the pitching, and they were saying on the broadcast, I think it was yesterday or the game before that the Yankees and one other team are the only teams with a starting pitching staff not to have less than 5 innings. Our starters have gone into the 5th every game this season.
Wow.
The only other team that's able to say that is the Orioles. Every other team have had pitches had to be pulled early because they just didn't have it.
Well, yesterday was a pretty good example
for that. What?
Yesterday was a pretty good example of a guy that didn't have his best stuff but was able to fight through it. Stroman, he looked terrible in the first. He gave up 2 bombs. That home run from Alvarez was an absolute tank shot, and then same thing with Singleton. He gave us a chance to come back and win that game, and we almost did. So you can't ask for much more for a guy that didn't have his best stuff.
Yeah.
The whole pitching staff in general has been much better than I could have thought. Rodon's been just fine. Stroman's been pitching to the back of his baseball card, so I can't expect anything more from him. I think he has the highest ERA in the rotation, which is crazy because it's not that bad. It's like a high 3. Luis Heel has been the best story of the season, in my opinion. Clark Schmidt's been just fine. And Nestor Cortez, for all the criticism he was getting, he's done his job. He's been our most reliable starter in terms of length. So you cannot have asked much more from this rotation through the first month. Hopefully it carries over for the next month until we get Garrett Cole back. Because that was the big thing. Who's going to step up in Garrett Cole's absence? Well, they all have. Each and every one of them have stepped up, and that's a huge thing. Also, this bullpen has been phenomenal. It has really been good. Even Tonkin has given us some decent innings, but I think he's gone when Caneley's coming back because today I think they're going to activate Birdie. That's why Marinaccio was sent down. And then when Caneley's ready, they'll DFA Tonkin. But they're just manipulating options while they have them. But the bullpen's been fine, too. This pitching staff's one of the best in baseball. Overall, ERA-wise, I think they still have the top ERA in the bullpen, and it's one of the top ERAs in the rotation. Like, they've been great. And this pitching staff, this coaching staff deserves a lot of credit. That Matt Blake pitching factory is real. Yeah. And there was a conversation going on yesterday on Twitter from Bobby Malone. Like, this is why you don't make moves, big trades or big signings for relief pitchers when the Yankees can do this because they're turning water into wine with a lot of these arms. And I think Birdie's another answer because he was great before he got hurt and he looked fine in his rehab start or assignment. And now when we get Caneley back, he's very reliable too. So now we're getting 2 flamethrowers back, which we didn't have a lot of. So now there's some variety. This bullpen's going to get even better starting tonight. And hopefully within the next week, Caneley's back too. Everything's been great for this bullpen. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see Marinaccio stay. I understand that that's how the Yankees operate with the options because he was starting to look like he was getting back into form. Tompkin, just DFA him. I don't see he's not a factor. He served his purpose. He ate a couple of innings for us while we were waiting for guys to come back. But pack your bags. I don't see the big hype of holding on to him when 14 other teams already have released him to his career.
14 others, true. Absolute accuracy. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed Marinaccio was sent down. I know they're manipulating options and things like that. But a little disappointed about it. I don't think he deserved it. I would have just DFA'd Tompkin and then dealt with keenly the situation when we get to it. But listen, we're just arguing over semantics at this point. There's so much to be positive about. It's great. And so to Mello in the chat, I completely agree that Birdie's a flamethrower. He's going to be a nice addition to the pen. So that's great. Everyone in the chat, hit the like button and share it out to everybody. Let's continue to grow this thing. Let's have a fun Friday morning. So to everyone in the chat that's watching, just much appreciated. And go Yankees, right? This Yankees team just took out the Astros. We dealt with them. Now, this Astros team offensively are great, right? Offensively, great. Alvarez, excellent. Altuve, excellent. There's a lot to like about their offense, but they can't pitch. They cannot freaking pitch. And the Yankees did damage, man. And it could have been a lot more, but they were good. Tucker's no joke. Yeah, Tucker is no joke. But tell you what, their pitching is atrocious. And we roasted them. We put them in the blender. We roasted them on a skittle. We absolutely torched the Astros pitching. Their bullpen sucks. And a lot of their starters suck. So we trashed them. It was great to see. Trashed them. So, Hey, good luck to them. They got one win off us, 4-3. Really, the Yankees should have won that game. Few things to pick up on. I didn't understand a few things. I didn't understand pinch hitting Ozzy Cabrera. That makes no sense. None. You don't do that. That guy's clutch. He's been one of our most clutch hitters all year. Get away from the lefty-righty matchup. You trust the people that come through in big spots, regardless. And he's one of those guys. You got to give him that chance. He's also your future, and you want to show him that you trust him, right? You just told him that your rotational catcher is trusted more offensively than he is. And Trevino is known for a lot of things, but offense isn't one of them. Be happy that he's giving you some offense this year. Great. But he's not an offensive catcher. Wells is the offensive catcher of the two, right? But you pinch hit Wells. It was just weird. Very weird. Don't agree with it. Didn't like it. Hated it. Another thing. Volpe. His at-bat in the 9th inning. Why was he so aggressive?
Yeah, I don't know.
You've got Juan Soto on deck. Hello? You got Juan Soto on deck, bro. That dude didn't throw a strike that at-bat. And he was swinging for the rafters. That was the Anthony Volpe of last year. It was a big uppercut swing. And when I saw the first pitch that he was really aggressively swung at, and it was a big uppercut. And he fouled it off, and the first thing I went was, oh, no. Because he didn't need to be so aggressive, right? It's not a spot to be aggressive. Right, I know that he could possibly run into a 2-run home run, fine. But that's not the situation. You've got a really good spot where if you're patient, you're probably going to get a walk. And then you got Juan Soto on deck. And Juan Soto, I would say 99% sure he would have come through. I've been absolutely 99% sure he would have come through in that spot. So I think that's an L on Volpe. I didn't like that at bat. He was far too aggressive. He was swinging at pitches out of the zone, swinging at high fastballs out of the zone. One of the most important things about a leadoff hitter, if you're going to be a leadoff hitter, is you have to remember who's on deck, who's coming up after you. You know, Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. Don't get yourself out just to try and be the hero. There's no reason to be the hero. Yeah, no, Joan, it's nothing about his previous at-bats. He has been better lately. But I'm just looking at that situation. If you're talking about trying to win a game, that's not the way you do it. You got to remember who you are. Volpe ain't Soto yet. He ain't Aaron Judge yet. Don't try and be the hero unless there's a really good pitch to hit. And he wasn't really given any good pitches to hit. So he should have been more selective. A lot of pitches were out of the zone. If he was more selective, he probably draws a walk. And Soto comes through, and the Yankees win and sweep the series. That's what would have happened. But, hey.
Yeah, it just seems after that first inning home run, they pitched him a lot differently the rest of the game. They weren't going to give him anything.
Who? Volpe?
Well, when not the first hit, when he got us he put the first runs up on the board.
Well, yeah, but Hader has a tendency to be wild too.
Yeah,
I'm just like, true. But yeah, that bat wasn't good. So yeah, Joan has nothing to do with his previous at bats. It's just that one at bat. It'd be different if he was batting like seventh and Trevino was on deck. Then go ahead and be aggressive.
Yeah,
be as aggressive as you can be and try to get the big hit. But when Juan Soto's behind you and Judge is behind him, you got to make sure that you give those guys a chance. I love that Volpe was. There's a part of me that's like, go ahead and be the hero, kid, because we need you to be that hitter for us. But situations like get your best guy up there. And your best guy right now is Soto, and your second best guy is right behind him. So it's kind of just move the line because Soto already did that against Hader in the first series of the season. So we know that Soto's locked in. He's got Hader's number. I hated the decision to pinch hit for Wells. I think they pinched hit for Wells with Birdie. And then they pinched it for Cabrera with Trevino. Like that to me, I was just let Wells that. Or did Birdie bunt or because I didn't catch that part of the game. I only saw it on game day. It said softly grounded out.
No, it kind of looked like a bunt, but it wasn't. He was actually swinging, but it actually worked out as a bunt. Kind of.
So that was their pinch hit decision instead of the guy that could have took one over the wall. So I was like. Probably going to take a couple of maybe a point or two off of Boone's score for that because those are bad decisions back to back. Like just let Wells swing the bat. And Cabrera had success earlier, if I'm not mistaken, against Hader in that first series too, right? Didn't he get a big hit against Hader or at least someone? So let Cabrera swing the bat. Like he's actually been a good hitter this season. I don't care about this lefty righty stuff, especially when you brought in Trevino. Who doesn't really hit very well. I know he's been better this year, but against Hader, you're going to rely on Jose Trevino against Josh Hader? Like that, those were two
didn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. He's been very good with guys on base. Like it was just very strange to me.
That's what it is. Like with runners in scoring position with Cabrera up, that's a recipe for success. It's been that recipe for success. You know, because it's almost he's finding himself in those situations almost every game. And 80% of the time he's coming through. So don't worry about if it's lefty righty matchup. If he's able to succeed in those situations, just let him. I would feel more comfortable if they just said, all right, just go from the other side, take this at bat, rather than I did not like. I don't think anybody liked the pinch hitting situation, but that just it made it so much worse because it was a crucial time of the game, and one of your most clutch players with runners in scoring position is up, and you took him out of the game.
Yeah, it's not like he took him out for Giancarlo Stanton. He took him out for Jose Trevino. Like that was I don't care if Trevino was hitting 300 at the time. That Trevino was like a singles guy. Yeah. You're not looking for a single there. You're looking for the big hit. to try to get that runner in because Torres got on to start the inning, and you're like, okay, let's get him in, and they couldn't do it. So like, I feel like you were playing into Hader's hand by trying to play the matchup against him because he's gonna get when he's on, it doesn't matter if it's lefty righty, he's gonna get you out. I know he's been bad this year, but when Josh Hader is going, there are a few that are better than him at what he does. That's why he got $90 million this year. I know he's been terrible so far, but he showed you yesterday what he's got. And he made Volpe look foolish. He made Trevino. Well, Trevino did line out, but still, I don't like the decision. It was just strange to pinch hit for the better hitting catcher earlier, one at bat previously, and then you go with the softer contact catcher in the next at bat instead of the guy that's had the clutch hit. So those two moves just really puzzled me because Boone was having a pretty flawless series up until that ninth inning. It's like he kind of buckled when the pressure was on him, which is a scary sign.
Yeah, I think the substitution that should have been made was when Torres got on. I would have pinch run with Birdie at that point.
Yeah,
that was the move. That was the move that Boone should have made. Not mess with the hitting, the hitting part of it. Put your speed on the base.
You could have stolen a base, and then it could have changed the whole thing.
Exactly. You could have stolen second and third. You know, Birdie's a phenomenal base stealer.
Yes, you could
have him sitting there, and you wait.
And then you could have had Trevino come up to bunt over to third, and then we're right there. One out, runner at third.
Yep. Because actually, so surprisingly, Trevino actually can bunt. So that would have been the move. Steal second, bunt to third. You know, sack fly, tie game. You know, it could have gone that simple, but no. Boone, I think Boone got a little. I think he panicked.
Yeah.
Once Torres got on, it seemed like he just didn't know what to do to finish out the game, and every decision he made went wrong. So we obviously know he ain't getting a 10 out of 10 for this series.
He still had a great series because he didn't have to do too much. The offense, like I said earlier, dog walked them the first two games. And yesterday they were a couple of inches away from winning that game too. Judge gets that one just like a couple inches higher over Bregman's glove. The game's tied at that point. After his home run would have tied the game, that absolute bomb he hit in the eighth inning. So, I mean, they were close. They had opportunities. They hit into a couple of double plays. I'm not mad about the Judge one because, like I said, he hit it too well for me to be like, God damn, we did it again. But this was a game where they lost and you're like, damn, they could have won. Where previously we've lost games where it's like they had nothing. So I'm glad they at least fought back and Stroman kept them in the game. The bullpen kept them in the game, and they were this close to coming back and winning that. And like Donald mentioned earlier, that Astros offense is no joke, and we pretty much kept them in check. Their pitching is what's costing them having at least a 500 record right now. It's not their offense. It's not those bats. Because Alvarez, Tucker, Altuve, even Bregman's struggling, but he's going to get going eventually. These guys can hit. And Sunil, no, I'm not trading for another athletics pitcher, especially a guy that's throwing 102. No, thank you. Because I can guarantee you this. The second he puts on those pinstripes and throws a bullpen, his arm's going to blow out. That's been our luck with Oakland pitchers.
Yep.
He is good, though. He's really freaking good. If it didn't cost us any of our, like, major prospects, if you gave them, like, a bunch of Bs, and an Emerson Pereira or something like that, and then, like, 4 really solid arms mixed in to get him in there, it shortens the game. Go him in the 8th, Wells in the 9th, or vice versa. Damn. You know? Jesus. That's something to think about. It is. Yep. It would be kind of similar to when we had Chapman prior to him imploding, when we first had him, and then we had Miller as well.
Betances.
It really shortens the game. The only thing we just didn't have a lineup that year. We've got a lineup this year, baby. We've got the Bronx Bombers, and that's what we should all be excited about. We've got the Bronx Bombers back. We really do. Stanton is going to be bombing pitches out of the yard. Aaron Judge, his swing is fixed, people, and Juan Soto is Juan Soto. and you're gonna get some production as well from Rizzo and Volpe and the rest of the lineup. So a lot to be excited about. The Bronx Bombers are back. Only thing is, for me, I think the Yankees are hurting themselves by trying to force this this Torres situation. I think they're kind of forcing it a little bit. He's playing every single day, which is really odd considering all the mistakes he's been making. Like, where's the accountability? Why is he playing every day? And that was a really good idea from Tats. Like, this guy's a terrible base runner. He's run us out of a bunch of innings. He just ran us out of an inning the game before. So when you got him on base, just be happy you got him on base. But he's also a really bad base runner. Get him off, get Birdie on, and then it opens up the inning. They're just too afraid. They're like pussyfooting around Torres. Oh, we don't want to hurt his feelings because they know he's a little bit mentally weak. Dude, it's the big time. It's the big leagues. We don't have time. Don't have time to mess around with your feelings. So, I know they're in a tough spot. I'll give you that. They're in a tough spot because his career has always been good, right? Well, on paper, we know about his mental errors, but on paper, he's really good. You know, he's a multiple All-Star, top 10 second baseman in the American League. He's all those things, and he was great last year. And he's also playing in a contract year. So there's all these things, right? He's not saying Aaron Hicks. Like, he's got a lot of ability. But right now, you have to look at what he's giving you right now, and it is a negative. I think it's a -3 he's giving you right now. And that says it all. So they just need to be a little bit less patient with Torres. They need to stop catering to his fragile ego.
Yeah,
He's somehow a positive WAR player, but he's a 0.1, so he's not negative just yet. But he might as well.
He's getting there. He's working on that.
He might as well be. There's no reason for him to play every day. I like Glaber. I've liked Glaber, but I also said earlier this offseason that I would have traded him 1-for-1 for Verdugo. So they need to sit him for a day or two. Just sit him down, let him get some rest. He has played every day. He hasn't played well. Let him try to work on some stuff in the cage, watch some tape, see what he's doing wrong, see what he can do to possibly fix it. Give Birdie a couple of days out there. Let Cabrera stay at third. And let's see if it works, because you're going to have a tough decision to make when DJ LeMahieu eventually comes back. When that is, I don't know. I don't think the Yankees even know. But right now, Birdie has hit since he's come back. He had a 2-hit game the other day. Keep him in the lineup, because we can use that kind of contact and speed combination that he has that Torres doesn't offer you right now. Torres doesn't offer you shit right now. He'll get the occasional hit and the occasional walk, but other than that, you're going to get bad base running, a defensive gaffe, a confused look or two. That's what you're going to get from Gleyber Torres right now. So put Birdie in the lineup. Let Torres get a couple of days off, give him some rest. Let's let him chill out, and hopefully I can get him going, because we have seen the good from him just the last year and the year before. He was really good. He's been our best player outside of Aaron Judge these last couple of seasons. We know he's got that ability, but for whatever reason right now, he can't do it. Is it mental? Probably. I don't think it's a physical thing. He doesn't look injured. So just give him a day off. You do it with everybody else. Just give him a day off. Give him a day off or two against Tampa Bay. Let Birdie play, and let's see if that fixes him.
Now that we've got Rob on the panel, right? We were discussing this in the previous show. We've got two incredible people coming through. Spencer Jones, Dominguez. Both center fielders, right? We've got Verdugo, who has been even better than our expectations, right? And he's a plus left fielder. Best left fielder that we've had since Brett Gardner. Not a lot to... and then I actually mean early Brett Gardner, not even latter, but Brett Gardner, like early Gardner. That's how good he's been. So you got him as well. But then you need to re-sign Juan Soto to like a forever contract, as long as he wants. You need to give him the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty if it takes that. Oh, do you want the Statue of Liberty in your backyard? No problem. It's getting used. Like no issues, bro. Right? So you got him, and you got Aaron Judge as well, right? Then you got Gleyber Torres, who cannot possibly come back next year, right? So we've got a hole at second base, and we've got a ton of center fielders and outfielders. How are we going to align this? Because I think Dominguez and Jones are ready next year, right? They should be starting next year. How do you align this? How do we get a good plus second baseman and get that outfield aligned and make this work? Rob.
I'll tell you what you don't do is trade one of those two up-and-coming outfielders for Jake Berger. That's certainly not something I would do. I don't think Verdugo's coming back. I love Verdugo, but we also had a conversation similar to this around this time last year about Harrison Bader. I don't want to jump the gun just yet with Verdugo. I think he knew it was going to be a one-year thing. That's why he's been such a great presence in the locker room. He's got something to prove. Contract year. People are talking about him like he's a locker room cancer. I just got traded from the Red Sox. I was the main piece for Mookie Betts. I went to the Red Sox. I got traded for a bag of baseballs, essentially, to their biggest rival. I'm getting called the locker room cancer. Nobody likes me. Oh, they're good. He's not going to want to shave his beard. He's not going to want to not wear the chains. He's going to be a bad presence. He's been the complete opposite of everything people said. Average outfielder? Nope, he's been elite. Bad bat? Nope, he's been great. He's batting cleanup for us, and he's doing a good job at it. He's done everything that you could have asked of him and more, because I think he knows this is a one-year thing. So he wants to prove that he can be a good locker room presence, he can be a good presence in the lineup, and he can be a good outfielder because he wants to get paid. It won't be from the Yankees, though. They kept Jones and Dominguez out of trades for the last couple of years now. They didn't offer Spencer Jones for Corbin Burns. They didn't offer him for Dylan Cease when we needed pitching. They didn't offer him for anybody. They're keeping him. Dominguez ain't going anywhere. Unfortunately, Verdugo is not going to be back. I would be shocked if they change their minds on that, because they've had this set in stone for a while that Jones will be coming up as soon as next year. He's been struggling lately, but he's too good for that to keep up. And Dominguez showed you last year what he's capable of, both with the bat and the glove. There's just no, I don't see the scenario where Verdugo comes back. I think he knows it's a one-year thing. The Yankees know it's a one-year thing. I think even in his mind, he's like, if they're going to choose between Soto and Verdugo and myself, it's going to be Juan Soto. So that's why I think he's like, I'm going to go in there with a completely new energy, a completely different mindset, and go prove some people wrong, shut some people up, and go win some baseball games, because he's got a chance to win a ring and go into free agency and make a lot of money. And I think that kind of gave him a new outlook on baseball, because he went through it last year. Everyone was saying, oh, he's going to be a locker room cancer. You'll see. Look what he did with Alex Cora. He's been the complete opposite. Everyone's had nothing but.
What did we say from day one? Yep. Great trade. Love it.
We said it was a great trade. We said we would do it back in November. If you don't believe us, go back. We talked about it. NFE was on the show with us. We talked about, would we do Verdugo for Torres? We both said we would do it. So we've been high on this guy for months. We both wanted him on the team.
Years. I liked him in the Red Sox. I really liked this guy. Really liked him.
Yeah, we wanted him. Wanted him to start the season at leadoff.
Yeah.
Now, do you think they should at least explore trying to get him on a? I don't. He's going to get paid. I know that. Yeah. But with the Yankees, would it be a disservice to what he's done? Let's just, for argument's sake, that he carries this throughout the year. He just has a career year. Would it be a bad look on the Yankees not to at least kick the tires to see if there's a way to keep him?
Yeah, so we know.
I think that's where.
We know for a fact that Cashman is. We know for a fact that Cashman has been wanting Verdugo for a number of years. Mm-hmm. He's looked into trading him for at least 2 years now. So he's been a target. So the Yankees figured there is something about Verdugo that is perfect for this team, this locker room, and he's providing that. So I wouldn't discount it, because he does have the personality where he's very comfortable in New York, and that isn't something to be overlooked now, because that is real. There's some people that just can't hack it. So I wouldn't dismiss it. So if we were to do it, I know it's very early to do it. Lou makes sense. I agree with you, and Rob totally makes sense. I agree with you too. But if we went with it, and we extended him and we extended Soto, right? That's left and right field sorted long term. That would mean that Spencer Jones moves to first base permanently, right? Because Rizzo's probably not coming back next year. That is one way you could do it. You move him over to first base. Dominguez and Aaron Judge then rotate between center field and DH. That means that Stanton becomes more of a part-time player, or we move him on next year. What do you think?
They haven't used Jones at first yet, though. That's my thing. Like, I know I brought that up several times, but until they actually try it, I don't think they're going to do it, because you're going to ask him to play center field all season in the minors and then learn first base on the fly basically next spring. That's a lot to ask for a kid who's kind of struggling with that right now. I think he's been like 2 for his last 26 or something like that. So right after I gave him prospect of the week, he's been terrible. So if you want to blame somebody, it's right here. But no, I don't think that's going to keep up. I just want to see them try him at first base. But as we've all said this entire time, his skill set is too good in the outfield. But this is just a way to get him playing time until Stanton's gone, and Judge is going to be like 35 at that time. So I don't know what they're going to do. I just don't see a way that it seems like a lot of moving parts. It seems like spending a lot of money on 2 outfielders when they've been so high on both Dominguez and Jones for a while now. Since they drafted Jones, he's basically been untouchable. And Dominguez, the second they signed him as a 16-year-old kid, he was untouchable. This kid was compared to Mickey Mantle before he even stepped on a field. So, and I hated that, but you saw that 8-game sample size. The kid's the real deal. And I can't wait for him to be back. So you could make that happen. Yeah. You use Jones as a hybrid and you transition Judge to more of a DH, but then you probably cut Stanton. But if he's hitting like this, if on this pace, he's going to be a 30 home run guy. Do you turn that into a part-time player? I don't know if you do that. It seems like a lot of moving parts, and you'd have a lot of money jumbled up in your outfield and your bench when you know these 2 kids are like untouchable and they're part of your future. So unfortunately, I understand what you're saying. I just can't see a scenario where it happens. And it sucks for Verdugo because I really like the guy and I could see him being part of this team. Now, if you have a change of heart and you decide one of these 2 can get traded and Dominguez and Jones, I personally would trade Spencer Jones. Not that I don't like him. I just think Dominguez is going to be the better player. That's just my personal opinion. I think Dominguez has the skill set to be overall better. That's just my opinion on it. Will they trade Jones? Probably not. But if there's something that comes up where they can use another arm in a trade or something, or maybe trade for an actual good third baseman or something, or second baseman next offseason, maybe you explore that and you can try to get Verdugo back. But for now, I just really don't see it happening.
Maybe we should have jumped in on the Luis Arias trade.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That was a shock.
You could have locked down second base forever.
No, I think the problem, and this has been the problem, and we've talked about it, is really just making room for everybody to utilize their strengths. You could easily say, well, we could keep Dominguez and Jones, but you're going to have 5 outfielders for 3 spots.
Yeah.
So the levee's going to break on holding on to these guys. We're already starting to see the cracks in it. So, for the argument that we've all claimed it all off season. Jones can't be traded because he's the backup for the offseason with Soto. But if we're able to retain Soto and he stays with us long term, like we said, we put the Statue of Liberty on his front lawn like an ornament, for all I can. It's you have to figure out, who's playing where, and do you take Dominguez or Jones and make them your fourth outfielder? Because you're not going to make Soto the the backup. He's going to play it every game. You're not taking Judge out of his role yet. I'm saying yet because he's a big dude with a long contract. So then you have left field, and one of them will move to center, whether it's Jones or Dominguez. But, and I think Judge will end up sliding over to the left. Not the most comfortable with that move, but I think that's where they're going to go. Who gets the everyday spot? Dominguez or Jones? Now, I'm going to say mindset with Rob. I would go with Dominguez. One, he's already been up here. We've seen what he can do. And he's the one that we've been hearing the hype about the most. So it's like, okay, you already had your little taste. You had your opening jitters out of the way. It wouldn't even be an issue if he had never gotten hurt. But if he never got hurt, he would not have had
no jitters. He was literally perfect when he came up.
He was locked in from the.
He was historic. Dominguez was historic when he came up.
Yeah.
So we have nothing to worry about with Dominguez. But I'm telling you, Spencer Jones as perfect a prospect as I've come across. His swing is elite. His speed is elite. His knowledge of the strike zone is elite. His presence is elite. There's so much to love. So, yeah, FJ, you're right. Why move Jones to first to be such an elite defensive center fielder? I completely agree with you. He is. He showed amazing range in spring training where he was tracking down some deep fly balls and just made it look routine. So, yeah, he's elite in center field. I was just trying to come up with a way in which we could bring back Verdugo because I love what he brings to the locker room and I love what he brings to the lineup. I love his elite defense in left field. So I'm just trying to think of something. I just wish that Dominguez could play second base. Absolutely. You know what I mean? No cap. I really wish he could play second base, but he can't. So
maybe now's the time to get one of them to learn to second base. Right. Maybe I mean Jones is way too big to even put him any. The thing is, it's just you can use him like Jones says. Like I've been mentioning this as a Bellinger type, just for a couple of years, because he's still very young.
Yeah,
that's the only way. And if that's the way to get him in the lineup at the same time as Soto, Judge, Dominguez, then you probably explore it. But next year we could see Jones, Soto, Dominguez outfield, and Judge as the DH. I mean, they could just use Judge as a DH. Fourth outfielder type just because that toe, we don't know how it's going to be in a year from now. It could be a real problem, whatever. I'm hoping it's not, but I don't think it happens because all this to keep Verdugo, so we don't know how the season's going to end for him. I think he's going to be fine, but I just feel like the Yankees have their plans. They knew it was a rental. He knows it's a rental.
Yeah, makes sense.
Unless they decide to trade Spencer Jones for something else. And no, Sunil, if they didn't want to pay Arias, why would they give Torres $14 million? The Marlins are not going to take Torres for Arias. It wasn't happening.
No.
And so the Marlins are a dumpster fire. They're an absolute joke because that was a playoff team last year, and their owner, that dork, was giving up on the season after a month. And the fact that they're already having a fire sale, the Yankees should try to jump on it. The thing is, they don't really have anyone they can really use right now except for some bullpen arms. I don't want Jake Berger because, one, he's hurt, and he hasn't been very good. Jazz Chisholm will take too much to get. He can play everywhere, but he's probably the only guy that has some value on that team, and there's really nobody else. And they need a lot. But pitching-wise, you can look into that come deadline time, see who's performing for them. Maybe you look into that. But right now, there's really nobody out there to go improve third base for. And I don't even know if there's going to be someone at the deadline.
Well, we've reached the point where I think we should probably get into our awards for the series. We're just
on the hour mark. 10 to 11. Time is flying while we're having some fun.
I know, while we're having fun. So everybody, get your award thinking caps on, and we'll get stuck into it. Okay, guys, let's do it. Let's do it. The Astro Series Awards. Let's go with the MVP. Let's start with Uncle T.
Judge.
Okay.
Judge. They woke him up, and he's been locked in.
Rob.
I was tossing between 99 and 22 because they both had fantastic series. So I'm going to give this one to Soto because I think he that 5 RBI game was insane. Although Judge probably had the better overall series because he had a big hit in each one, but Soto, even that walk he drew yesterday where he was showing up the catcher, like, you don't want to deal with me. Like, to me, that's just like, that's attitude that we need in this fuck. That's the Bronx Zoo type attitude. We're gonna fuck you up at any given moment. So give me Soto.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at it. Judge was 5 of 12 with 5 ribs. Soto was 6 of 11. So, I mean, they're they're both phenomenal. They're really. My MVP is Juan Soto. It's we should almost just rename this award the Soto Award because he's walking away with it right now. But Judge was great too. Let's go to the fans. Stevie B has Verdugo. Sean has Judge. Joan has Judge. Jonathan has Soto. Sunil has Soto. So we have got 2 for Soto, 2 for Judge, 1 for Verdugo. It's a close one. Anyone else have an award for an MVP?
Break the tie, guys.
Let's break the tie, guys.
Soto.
Yeah, Soto wins. Okay.
I'm not giving it to Soto so I can take a mill off his contract.
Okay, low-key MVP. Let's go with Robinho.
Naturally, you'd think, well, if I didn't give it to Judge, he'd be the co-MVP. I'm going to give this one to Volpe. I know his bat yesterday at the end of the game wasn't good, but he actually had a really good series overall. And I'm glad to see it because, like I said earlier, we've been really hard on the kid. He's been terrible since going to leadoff, but this series he looked a lot like his first week self, and I'm hoping that's the wake-up call for him to get back on track. I'm going to give it to Volpe.
Okay, Tats.
If it's that, it's the MVP and the low key. Just going to keep flip flopping for a while. So my low key was Soto.
Makes sense.
Too good not to have that mix. But Rob did make a great point. Volpe did. He was involved. He was in the middle of a lot.
And mine is Aaron Judge. Judge is back, loving that swing, baby. He was torching everything. He was absolutely annihilating pitches, Aaron Judge. It's gonna be a fun summer. If y'all set aside some time to go to a bunch of games, I would highly recommend it because I think it's gonna be a fun summer watching the two of them. I really do. Okay, let's go to the fans. The low key MVP. Stevie B has Soto as a low key. Joan has Sunil has low key MVP Rodon. Sean has Soto. Joan has Soto. What's Richie's point here?
I don't know what he's trying to say with a straight gut. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. So, yeah, I'm not sure what that means at all. Let's go with Soto. I guess Soto is the low-key MVP then. But that doesn't make much sense if Soto was the MVP. So, who's going to be the low-key MVP of the fans? Sunil says Rodon.
I mean, the fans voted Judge MVP. Or no, it was Soto MVP.
Yeah.
Not Soto low-key MVP too.
I guess so.
Why don't we just call it the Soto Award?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, the Clutch Award. Let's go with the Clutch Award. Let's go with Uncle Tats.
Volpe. Volpe's getting the clutch award. You saw the results of the efforts to get himself back on track. And like Rob said, despite that last at bat, he was, even his defense, he was making plays. He's looking like a Gold Glover. So I want the clutch award. I'm giving it to Volpe.
All righty.
My turn.
Rob.
I'm gonna take Verdugo coming up. First inning of that game, down 1-0, and he makes it 3-1. And he kind of set the tone for the offense that entire series. So I'm gonna give Verdugo that award. I think Richie's behind.
Yeah,
that's
so.
Yeah, he's watching from behind. So he's talking about the whole Volpe bat. Now I get it.
Oh,
now it's making sense.
Right. Well, Rob,
so when he does catch up,
explain to Richie what we meant.
So Richie, what we're saying is we didn't like the decisions to pinch hit because we just would rather let Cabrera get in that bat. We understand. We went through the whole Hader. We know Hader's great, but we've seen Cabrera have success earlier in the season. We want to see Wells swing the bat, and Volpe was swinging at bad pitches. Yeah. So it was just, if Volpe had just took his walk, you would have had arguably the best player in baseball up. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to speak for Donald, but Donald said that Soto would have come through. We don't know, but more than time he's going to come through. It's just something that we've seen watching the sport. So we do understand baseball, Richie, but we're just giving our opinions. You're giving yours. That's absolutely fine, but we're not going to go over something we talked about 30 minutes ago.
No, it was just more the case that there wasn't that many great pitches to hit in that at bat. He was a little over aggressive. He was swinging at pitches out of the zone. I don't think any of those pitches were in the zone. So I think I wanted him to be a little bit more patient in that spot. But hey, that's what's fun about opinions. Okay, alrighty. So the Clutch Award, Rob went with Verdugo. Tats went Volpe. I will go with Verdugo because of that awesome day that he had in game one. That was an amazing game from him. And let's go with the fans. Who is your Clutch Award winner, fans?
There's 2 for Verdugo, 1 for Volpe.
Okay. So it looks like Verdugo's going to win the Clutch Award.
Oh, so now Richie knows what's going to happen after telling us we don't know what's going to happen. Okay, cool, Richie. Gotcha. Awful takes. Gotcha. Good job, man.
All right. The Pitching Award. Who's the best pitcher?
I gave mine to the bullpen overall. It says, we won 6 out of 7 against Houston. I know we're talking about this specific series, but, for a bullpen that everybody was, trashing, they gave up 1 earned run against the Astros in 27 innings. So the bullpen just completely locked. They shut Houston down. So I'm giving it to the bullpen.
Makes sense.
The entire pitching staff could get this, but if I'm going to pick one, I'm going Luis Gil. He was so good that game. That might have been his best start.
No,
it's a tough one.
Beginning of the season, actually, not now.
It's basically between Rodon and Gil, but I'm going to give it to Gil. Gil was just phenomenal. He shows so much guts to take on some of the biggest names in the sport and to beat them. Just, I can't say enough about Luis Gil. He's got a lot of balls, man. He really does. I'm very proud of this guy. Very excited about his future. I loved it at the time. I loved that he got the job, and he's shown up and shown out. The fans are giving it to Gil. I completely agree with that. Okay, the Take the L Award. Let's start with Uncle Tat.
Take the L is the Volpe Torres running error, where they just seemed like they didn't know what just for that lack of communication. You should be you have to read your teammates' body language. You have to know how they play. So I thought that was abysmal base running. So they get the L.
That was so annoying. Rob.
Yeah, had the exact same one. I don't know what the hell was going on there. I've seen so much conversation. Who's to blame there? I think they're both to blame. Torres flew around third and he stopped. It looked like halfway. It was close to halfway. And then Volpe, realizing it's 2 outs, you don't really stop running. It was bad communication. Also, who the hell's our third base coach? Rojas. The hell are you doing? So
It should be on Rojas, yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing was just really weird. So the entirety of those three, the three stooges on that play, take the L.
Okay, well, it's just a weekly award at this point. Gleyber Torres.
Yeah, Torres with the L is as routine as Soto with the MVP.
You know? It's just like, okay, you got a single. That would have changed the whole thing. That would have been good. But just the rest of all he did, he was the only one that didn't show up when everyone else was crushing. And that stupid base running error. I mean, there's even when he gets on base, he does something stupid. So it's just a weekly award. Just very frustrating to watch this guy. Okay, let's go with the fans. Who are the fans? L. Boone is the L for Stevie B. Sunil has Verlander. Joan has the Astros catcher yesterday getting punked by Soto. So we got a lot of really good ones. Which one should we go with?
Stevie B, you might trigger Richie with that comment there. So good on Stevie B. I like that answer. Sunil doesn't get it because he's used that same joke for like 8 years now. And Joan makes a good point because Soto absolutely made that catcher look like a dork. So, I mean, it's between Joan and Stevie. Kind of flip. Joan says Torres now.
Well, because it's the weekly award, let's just give it to Gleyber Torres. Because we do have one more award.
We got two more awards.
We got two more, actually. Let's go to Aaron Boone. The rating out of 10. Aaron Boone.
I have an 8 out of 10. Because I think everything was flawless up until the 9th. So you lost points for that.
Oh, yeah.
You can't be the Yankees manager and make that many mistakes in a row and get a perfect score. It doesn't happen.
Rob.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 7. Also, I wish he would kind of address that base running thing a little bit. Maybe sit Gleyber Torres just once.
Please.
Yeah. That's what I would say. Just give him a 7. He was fine up until that 9th inning too, like Tatch just said, but it was just weird. It was weird because you went with like a soft hitting righty against one of the best lefties, and I don't know.
Donald?
Okay. I keep getting distracted by this guy, so
he's watching from the past. You know,
he's
took his DeLorean 30 minutes ago.
Right, okay. So I have to give him a 4. I hated those moves in the 9th inning. And I also agree with you. He didn't address the base running errors. We've run ourselves out of a couple of innings now. Something needs to be addressed. It's just constant at this point. Like, there's just some dumb things that just you need. It's about the margins. If you're going to win a championship, it's about the margins. We should be cutting this stuff out now. So, I'm giving him a 4. I disagreed with pinch hitting for Trevino in that spot. He's a light hitting catcher. That's a weird move for me. So I didn't like that. And yeah, I thought that he probably should have addressed the base running errors. So uh, Stevie B pitch hitting, steady towards and base running blunders. I agree with you there. So so then we are gonna go with the fans.
Was that you, Rob?
What?
That did the band?
No, I didn't do it.
Okay.
Sorry about that. But no, yeah, Richie. And I was actually going to say, look, you're trying to catch up. It's your first time in the chat. Join us on the live show so we can have more of an interaction. But okay, it is what it is.
Okay.
No, it's
I don't know who did it. No, I don't think that'd be. I don't know who it was. I mean,
me neither.
It had to,
He was the
went over
first
the
time.
mod.
So
Let's go with the fans. What are the fans rating out of 10?
yeah, we're seeing some 5s, some 4s. 3,
Sunil's doesn't
2,
count
1.
once
1
again.
for 7.
Sunil's doesn't count because it's got a point in it.
Doesn't listen.
Well, it's just, I guess
You're
we'll go with
worse
the
than my
average.
3-year-old niece, so you don't. She listens better than you, Sunil. We've told you several times. Stop putting decimal points. We're not going to count your answer. Here you come once again. 7.5 out of 10. If I go ask my niece, hey Liana, what do you think Aaron Boone's rating is out of a 10? She'd probably say like a 3 and not give a decimal point. I'll tell you that much. She listens better than you.
We got 1 for 5, 1 for 4, 1 for 7. We'll average it 6.
Fair
We'll go
enough.
with 6 out of 10.
Split the difference.
Now, I don't want our future sponsors to have to listen to me swear every podcast for this next award. So, what rhymes with pricks? Hicks. So the Aaron Hicks Award now is what it's renamed as. Aaron Hicks is the future award. He's the worst of the worst, right? I can't think of anyone who knows me knows that Aaron Hicks is in my top 5 most hated war criminals. So he is the worst of the worst. So this is the new award, right? Worst of the worst. So, Rob, who is your Aaron Hicks Award for this week?
Whoever misinterpreted this Jake Berger conversation. I'm looking at the top left of the screen right now because somebody went out there and blamed L.I. Yankee King for a bad trade suggestion, and it wasn't him. I did some deep diving. I did some detective work, and I found out who was the culprit. Bobby Tats, you didn't listen to what was going on in that Twitter space. The suggestion was not trading Jones for Jake Berger. It was more of a get what you can from the Marlins if you include one of them, including some pitchers. Bobby Tats, you came up with an
The
Aaron
one thing
Hicks
I'm learning about the Twitter spaces, though, if you're not looking at your phone of who's speaking,
Yeah.
it's very confusing.
But L.I. does have a very distinguishable voice. Very distinguishable because he's going to stop mid-sentence. You know it's L.I.
It's
Yankee King.
very
And he goes,
slow-talking. You're
what
right.
I don't understand is that's how you know it's L.I. Yankee King.
Yeah.
Just for future reference.
Following
Anybody
along
that
on
might be in a Twitter
Spaces,
space.
not looking at my phone, of course, yeah, I'll take the L on that.
It's just a playful jab at you, Tats. I don't want anything to do with Jake Berger.
And it's deserved.
Yeah, what is Jake Berger's numbers, Rob?
Oh, you mean the injured Jake Berger?
Yeah. Have you
he's
got a
hitting-
Savant page? It's beautiful.
I can't get it on the thing to load up for whatever reason, so I'll just read it off to you. Hitting 203 with 3 home runs and a 612 OPS. He's also in the blue, basically in the ocean. He barrels up pretty well, but he doesn't have a good defense, a -2 range at third base. Yeah. Pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
So whoever it was that suggested Jake Berger, I'm not saying Tats suggested trading for Jake Berger, but whoever that was, and I know who it was, I'm not going to throw him out to the wolves here, but
what's his worst whiff? What's his whiff rate?
27.1.
Woo! Nice. Does that 27th percentile?
Yeah, pretty bad.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
27%
bad.
percentile.
Okay. That was a really good suggestion. Was it Dominguez and Spencer Jones? Was it?
One of the two for Berger, and then it would have been pitchers involved. Like
AJ Puck was in there.
of course he
there
was.
were a few. There were other names that were mentioned. I just I've never really gone on the Twitter Spaces while because I was at work, so I'm kind of like half listening. No, I was sitting at home that night. I was playing the show, and I had.
Well, that's why you were distracted.
And
but to be fair, though, that it can get crazy in there.
I just immediately locked in that it was LI because that's right up his alley. The wild, wacky trades.
Still wants AJ Puck to be the closer, despite Clay Holmes being completely unhittable right now. But that's another conversation.
Okay, so my Aaron Hicks Award will be going to the kid who reached in to a field of play and grabbed the ball and took away an RBI from Austin Wells. That's it's definitely an award winner right there. That's some Aaron Hicks stuff right there.
God.
Took away an RBI.
I missed that.
The dad. Did you see his dad? I don't want the ball.
I just took you to a game, and you took away a run from the Yankees. You're the first game. Oh my God! You can imagine the dad was just like, "Oh, help me." That's why I prefer dogs, people. That's why I prefer dogs.
No, my Hicks Award goes to the fan in the stands with the Yankee hat and the Astros shirt.
Yeah,
you can't walk around Yankee Stadium like that. Sorry, it was so big, and he got blasted on Twitter. They had him all over on that app, and
that can't happen. What was that?
It was every time it was nauseating. Every time you had to look at that picture.
Tachi redeemed himself with that answer. Tachi redeemed yourself because you know what? Sunil, you keep this up, we're going to rename the award a third time. It's going to become the Sunil Award for the week. Keep it up. That same joke. God.
No. I hate that.
Terrible.
Sunil. You're getting the L2. You're getting the Aaron Hicks Award. You're just weekly Aaron Hicks. Maybe I'll need to rename the award just the Sunil Award.
Yeah, that's what Rob was just saying.
Rob's right.
But
keep this up, Sunil. You're going to get your own award. But no, that's a great point, Tats. Astros fan.
I don't know. You could have been a Yankee fan with an Astros shirt or an Astros fan with a Yankee hat. Like,
did he lose a bet? Like, what's the story?
That's what I want to know. I want the story.
Who does that in Yankee Stadium? They chant Altuve just for the hell of it. You think they want to see someone wearing the shirt and like with the Yankee hat? That might as well just puke on it.
Yeah. I agree.
There's
I agree.
There's the Aaron Hicks Award right there.
That's going in the book. That's the winner right there.
Yeah, that's the fans award. The fan award is the guy who trolled us to come on. He wanted to troll us. That was nice.
Watched from 30 minutes prior and said, "Let me just comment like they're not going to see." We're still talking about it.
But on that happy note, it's going to wrap things up for us today. Hope everybody does enjoy their weekend. Like we say, just remember to like, share, subscribe. I already screwed up my little outro there. But just remember to hit the like button, hit the sub button, share this out with your friends, your family, the stranger on the corner. As I always like to say, wear those pinstripes of pride and play hard.
Have a lovely Friday, guys.